get me!
Whoa. What's going on?
Yeah, we bought this house, but we're not able to move in till next week.
Next week?
Next week!
Well, what's wrong with next week? Well, what's wrong with it? The weather's going to be better. Gas is going to be cheaper. So it's not going to cost you as much to drive around that big moving truck.
I guess you're right.
Speaking of next week, I need to get a haircut.
Wait a second. You're right. Wow, moving next week isn't so bad. Look at these prices.
Yeah, can you get me in Thursday at, let's say, 4?
It's settled. Things are starting to look up for me.
See, that's the spirit.
Hey, can you help me move Thursday?
Can't. Got a hair appointment.
Hey,
Tommy. What's up, bud?
Hey, guess what?
What's that?
Guess what I learned today?
What'd you learn today?
Today I learned that Seinfeld's on Netflix.
Phillip.
Hey, Daniel.
I guess speaking of Seinfeld on
thanks.
Netflix.
Thanks, Tommy.
Thanks, Tommy. We'll see you later, bud. What are we talking about today?
Today, we're talking about the top 20 Seinfeld characters.
Yeah. Kind of 25. I do have some honorable mentions.
Some ons.
Actually, kind of 27.
Okay.
Because 2 of our slots are combined people.
Okay.
What's going on?
Well, my phone almost fell off my lap.
Okay.
And I also was checking the levels.
Okay, yeah. You were looking over at the computer and you looked very concerned.
I was looking very intently on my microphone because last time your voice was so darned loud that it was feeding into my microphone.
Are you doing a little bit of a Tommy impression right now or something? What's going on?
That's just my normal voice.
Okay. Yes.
Some people, I've heard some people think that I'm Tommy. That's
wow. I think we should probably post a picture of the 3 of us together or something.
Yeah, Reagan, I'm watching you.
Yeah, Reagan.
Who thinks that I'm just Tommy.
And that
it's
the
not
Tommy
funny.
segments are boring. Yeah, right.
Hey, what is this?
This is Classic Countdown Conversations, where we count down the best and the worst that pop culture has to offer.
Nice. When we feel like it.
When we feel like it, yeah. And today we do.
Today we really feel like it.
We're going to be talking about, I keep wanting to say Netflix. We're going to talk about Seinfeld because both you and I have both recently-ish
I guess more recently than you.
Watched Seinfeld in its entirety. I grew up watching a lot of Seinfeld, but I had never seen it front to back.
Yeah.
And did you grow up watching Seinfeld? Or?
No, my family didn't really watch it, but I had seen bits and pieces.
Okay.
But definitely, weirdly enough, I had seen the episode where Kramer paints the lines on the highway further apart.
Yeah, that one, shot, I feel like is kind of iconic.
Yeah.
Where he's going down, painting them black.
Yes.
The yellow lines. We could sit here and talk about the best of so many things about the show, the best moments, the best episodes, the best, I don't know.
The best of the best of the best of Seinfeld's the best.
Yes, the best of the show in general. But we're going to be talking about characters today.
Yeah. We're not shying away from it this time. We're doing the full-on best characters.
The best characters, not best side characters. And I guess some of these are side characters. But we're talking about just the best characters overall. In the future, we might do best popular one-off characters or best of Jerry's ex-girlfriends who he breaks up with for dumb reasons.
Yep.
But today we're just talking just characters in general who are the best of Seinfeld. So sorry for people who wanted to hear about the Bubble Boy or the Soup Nazi or something like that. They can be part of their own list about the popular one-time characters. These are the best of the best characters. So,
right.
You have anything to say before we start?
I have to say, do you ever just have one of those weeks? Just one of those weeks
Is that one of the weeks?
I had one of those weeks.
Just busy and bad.
Wanted to just die.
I know Thursday you had like a really long day, right?
Nice long day. Started at 5:30.
Gosh.
Ended at 5:45.
Jeez, 12-hour workday.
Yeah, basically.
You get paid overtime?
Yeah, but not as much as I would have liked because
Gotcha.
I had to drive.
Yeah.
And it was just a pain. Just a pain.
Well, aren't you happy that you're here recording with me?
I'm so glad, but I am still on call. So if something happens,
Yeah, there might be a little break.
there might be a break in the middle
But
of
Philip's
this.
so good at editing that you won't even notice.
You won't even know. You'll feel like today's not one of those days.
But it is.
But it is.
Trust me, I've been here for 2 hours doing prep, and boy, oh boy.
Daniel's not getting paid overtime.
I'm not getting paid overtime. I'm not getting paid at all for this.
But someday,
and I don't know, maybe later on you might hear a little something. But yeah, okay. Should we just jump right in?
I think so.
I'm diving in. I'm going deep.
Nope.
All right. Should we read off the ons?
Yeah, give me them ons.
Okay. First on is Mr. and Mrs. Ross. Those are the parents of another character that we might get to here in a little bit. Kind of tragic, little tragic figures. We're not going to spoil why, but yeah. And they kind of get their what's the opposite of getting your just desserts? Not revenge. It's not really revenge, but yeah, they get it at the end of the show, so that's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
They get justified.
They get good closure to their story.
Yeah. The best part about them is when they are in the what do they call that? The horse-drawn carriage, but they call it something else.
Oh yes, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And the horses just eating beans.
Yes.
Whoa, Rusty.
Number 4 is Mr. Littman.
Do you remember Mr. Littman?
Littman sounds familiar, but I can't think of who it is.
He is Elaine's very first boss in the show. He has like curly hair, kind of almost like a perm.
Gosh.
And later on in the
that.
show, he comes back and he tries to be romantic with Elaine.
Yes.
That's
Littman.
Yes. Number 3 is Mr. Wilhelm, which he's not the top dog at the Yankees, but he's the second in command at the Yankees.
He's funny.
The older man.
He's like actually cares for George.
Yes, yeah. He's like an elderly old man who has feelings.
Mr. Wilhelm is what you just said.
Yeah.
Poppy.
No, Poppy's. Do you not remember him?
I don't remember Poppy.
Poppy's the one that pees on the couch.
The restaurant owner who pees on the
Yes.
couch and then doesn't wash his hands
Yes.
when he goes to the bathroom. That's a great character.
Yeah.
He's funny.
And then our last honorable mention is Babu.
Babu, who's great. Maybe that's mildly racist, but it's still on Netflix, so maybe
It's still
it's
on
not.
Netflix, and it's Seinfeld. Maybe we should talk about Seinfeld for a second.
Yeah.
Seinfeld was ahead of its time
Yes.
with its comedy. I feel like it was probably like a trailblazer for a lot of modern comedy.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Arrested Development kind of came in right afterwards and did even more so for that.
Yeah.
It was underrated, got canceled, and then things like The Office and 30 Rock and Parks and Rec, I feel like, kind of took off because of the work that Seinfeld and Arrested Development kind of set up.
Well, Arrested Development. When did Seinfeld end? Like the
Seinfeld ended the year I was born.
So 98.
98.
Really? Is that late? Huh?
It was 89 to 98 was Seinfeld, and then I think Arrested Development was 03 to 05, or maybe 01 to 03. I always get the years of Arrested Development mixed up.
I can't remember. But
It got canceled, and then The Office kind of like, I don't want to say like took its place, but I think it kind of started like right after Arrested Development ended.
Yeah.
But yeah.
My son is going insane in the other room. I think he had chocolate.
A chocolate?
He had chocolate muffin this morning. And I think the caffeine maybe
sugar
makes him go crazy.
So Seinfeld. Some argue it's the best sitcom of all time, and
Oh gosh.
oh my.
That's the baby monitor.
Some argue that it's the best sitcom of all time, and I'm not one to really argue with that.
Yeah.
I think there's some shows that I like a little bit more, but I would not say that that's false. I think it might honestly be the best sitcom of all time. It takes a little bit to get going, but once it gets going,
Yeah.
boy, oh boy, is it so funny.
It's good. It's a great show.
Yeah.
It's why we're doing an episode on
We're
it.
doing an episode, and there are so many characters on the show. Like, I mean, a lot of them are one-offs, but there are a lot of characters on the show.
Yeah.
So, would you like to start us off, Phillip?
I believe I would.
And actually, I misspelled that last name.
Well, that's okay. I know what it is. I think.
I just texted it to you.
Oh, that's right. Yes, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 20
Okay.
is Bob Sacamano?
Yeah.
Sacamano?
Sacramento.
Is that how you say it?
I think so. I'm pretty sure. Bob Sacramento.
Now, Daniel originally said Sacramento.
Yeah, and that's a place.
That's a place. But now the Sacamano sounds weird.
I think it's Bob Sacramento. Would you like to explain who that is?
You've never seen him.
Yeah, he never shows up.
Never shows up. This is Kramer's good buddy that does a lot of weird things with Kramer, but you never see him.
Yeah, it's whenever Kramer has like wisdom or advice to share, it's because his buddy Bob like failed in that area in the past. He's like, my buddy Bob Sacramento did that. Now he's eating through a tube.
Yeah.
So things like that. But he would have been the highlight of the show if he had been on it.
Yep.
But he never shows up. He seems like he's Kramer, but times 1,000.
Or maybe Bob is actually Kramer.
Oh,
It's Kramer's secret identity.
oh, I like. It's like. Do you know? I don't want to spoil the movie for you if you've never seen it.
Maybe I have. Maybe I haven't.
There's a famous movie where there's two main characters, but then at the end you realize that it's one character.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you're talking about.
Yeah. And we'll bleep out what you just said, just in case if there's people listening to this that haven't seen and we don't want to spoil that for them. So we'll just bleep out the title that you just said.
Or will I?
Or will you? I don't know. Sometimes future Phillip can be a real douche.
A real turdly.
So Bob Sacramento, there's probably not a whole lot to say about him, but it is funny. It's a funny running joke that he's kind of always mentioned, never seen. But he's mentioned enough to where he's kind of his own little character.
Yeah.
So that's our number 20. Our number 19 is Mr. Pitt. I think what we should do here is we'll say a character and then we'll say our favorite moment or favorite bit from that character.
Okay.
Just
I
to
hope
kind
you
of
don't steal mine.
I'll let you go first on all of them because I'll probably be able to think of more than you will.
Well, I can't think of one because I can't remember who Mr. Pitt is already.
Mr. Pitt is Elaine's old boss, the old man boss.
The old man boss. Okay, so the Snickers guy.
Okay, yes.
Which is my favorite.
That's your favorite? Okay.
I think, there's too many. There's too many good things. Oh, I'm sending you a voice message. Good night.
Do you not know how to use phones or something?
I've never used a phone in my life. Mr. Pitt, yeah, I think it would have to be. Well, I'll just say the Snickers thing's really probably one of my favorite moments of him because it just like it.
Would you like to explain what?
Yeah,
what
so
it is?
he eats Snickers with a fork and a knife, and I don't know. I feel like, I guess they just don't ever say why, which is great. And then
he's
everybody
a weird
else
old
starts
man
doing
who has his quirks.
Everybody else starts doing it.
Yeah.
Like it ends like I think that episode ends with like it going on to like people at the restaurant
at the diner. Yeah. Well, it's like because Elaine sees it and she goes and tells Jerry about it, and they kind of are laughing behind their backs. But then I think Elaine kind of
one of them ends up thinking like, oh, actually, it's kind of nice you don't get your hands all messy.
Right. Yeah. And then they do it, and then it kind of just takes off.
Yes.
One person doing it leads to another person doing it, and then the kind of cultivates, and the whole restaurant's doing it the end. I think my favorite Mr. Pitt moment, it probably would be the Snickers, but another really good moment is when there's like the 3D painting or 3D poster, whatever it is.
Which I am also unable to watch and see.
You're not able to see 3D
Normally,
stuff.
I'm not able to.
Where like everyone can easily see it. Is it like a spaceship or something? And
it's like got a bunch of stuff. It's like clearly, I think that they just made it up. Like,
right.
Like say that you saw something,
and then Mr. Pitt's like, I can't see it. Spends Elaine like. I think doesn't she have to like she's like at work until he leaves or something,
Yes.
and he won't leave because he's like, I will not leave until I see what it is. She's like, Mr. Pitt. Yeah. So Mr. Pitt's funny, kooky old man who sends Elaine on errands that like picking up socks and stuff like that. So really, really funny.
Number 18?
18, yeah.
Is Susan.
Yeah.
And Susan is George's almost wife.
Almost wife.
I guess fiance is what some people call that.
Some people might call it a fiance. Spoiler alert, skip ahead 10 seconds. Or I guess just press your skip ahead button.
Yeah.
Starting right now.
Now she dies.
Yeah. And a very almost kind of I'm like I watched that episode. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, it's funny, but it's also kind of sad.
Yeah.
So,
but it's good.
it's good. She's not an overly funny character.
No.
But she's a good kind of opposite to the rest of the group. She's more normal and boring and sane. And the rest of, she's just an opposite to our main group of characters. So she works in that way.
Yeah, I think the best part is that George decides to marry her.
Yes, yeah.
Like, that's the funniest joke.
Yeah.
And that she says yes.
Because who would ever?
Yeah. So that's probably the best moment that I can think of.
I think.
And she's like gay.
I was gonna say my favorite moment is probably where the terminology that they use is she's changed teams.
Yes.
And then later on, well, what's funny is that George quote unquote brings her back to the straight team.
Yes.
So that's pretty funny. Because of all people to do that, George would not be that person. But yeah, Susan, she's a good character.
Yep.
She's not the funniest, but she's good, and yeah. Apparently they didn't like working with her.
Yeah, she was hard to work with in some sort of. She wasn't easy to play off of, is what I read.
Yeah. Which makes sense when you have a core cast of characters that are that good and have that much chemistry. I'm sure it would have been tough for anybody because she kind of becomes like the fifth main character there for like a season or so.
Which I feel like they like play off of that because he's like
she's supposed to be she's supposed to conflict with the group.
Yeah.
So
George is like there's like because she's starting to become friends with Elaine, I think.
Yeah.
And he's like, this can't happen. There's two versions of George, one with Susan, one without. That's funny.
Which back in high school, I would have related to that a lot. I think a lot of people can like.
Oh yeah.
Not that you're not yourself with one group of friends and you are with another. It's just like sometimes different people bring out different versions of you, and that's not being hypocritical or anything. It's just. Sometimes you might have to be the comic relief of a group. Other times you might have to be the voice of reason in a group. You know, it just depends on where you kind of fit into it. But yeah, I don't know why I went all wise there.
You know what I am?
What are
with
you?
All of my friends?
You're the jokester of all the
Well,
friends.
no, I'm always the cool guy. I don't know what you're talking
all
about.
Right.
The coolest of all of my friends.
Number 17 is Kenny Bainia. Phillip hates Bainia.
I don't hate him, but I find him as annoying as Jerry finds him.
I give him he's almost kind of I don't like him as much, but he's the Gabe of The Office for me in Seinfeld, where like everyone I talk to hates Gabe. And I see the brilliance in Gabe. I see why Gabe is so funny.
I think Gabe's funny.
Okay. Well, at least we're on the same page with that.
Especially when he shows his like horror movie.
He's upset. He's like a weirdo.
Anyway, we're not talking about The Office.
Right. We'll do. Actually, you texted me last night, so let's do an Office episode.
Daniel's like, it's too sacred for Daniel. He has to think about it for
over
a year.
Well, the topic that you said let's do that, like I could have done characters of The Office today, but you wanted to do top 10 cold opens, and there's 160 episodes I have to go through to see which ones were the best. But no, Kenny Bainia. He is Jerry's quote unquote comedian rival.
Yeah.
But he's He's horrible. I feel like this is good good commentary on like Seinfeld. Jerry Seinfeld kind of represents the niche but really funny humor, and then Kenny Bainia kind of
He's just the general audience,
but really surface level dumb humor.
Yes,
because everybody thinks Kenny's funny.
Yes.
There might be he might go through at the beginning. People might not think he's funny, but he ends up becoming more revered as the
Jerry
show.
teaches him how to become funnier.
Oh, that's right.
He gives him jokes.
He steals his jokes.
Yes.
That's right. But he's just an obnoxious person.
Yes.
He's like, gold, Jerry, gold.
I think my favorite moment is when he gets the suit from Kramer. Do you remember this episode?
Yes.
It ends up causing Kramer to have to be naked. He buys the suit and it has the ticket from Jerry for the dry cleaning.
Yes.
And he's unwilling to give the suit back. It's great.
And they're like, you gave him the suit in the store? Yeah, Kramer's just stuck in the dressing room. That's a good one. Kenny Bainia. I was going to either say when he starts dating Jerry's old girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
Or when he keeps, and this is like a running joke, how he keeps saying soup is not a meal.
Yes.
And Jerry owes him a meal,
yes.
but he keeps going out and he's like, well, soup wasn't lunch. It's just soup.
That is so
obnoxious.
But it is funny.
Yeah, and the guy plays the part really well.
Number 16 is Mickey.
Mickey.
The dwarf friend of Kramer's, who's also an actor.
Yes, yeah. It's funny. His first intro, he walks in, and I'm pretty sure they just know who he is. They're like,
yes,
oh, hey,
it's
Mickey.
It's
like Kramer's known him for a long time,
yes.
And but yeah, they're kind of like a little duo where they go try to get commercial gigs and stand-in jobs and stuff like that.
So many good moments.
Yeah, I think of this show, he's probably the one on the fringe of being a main character and a supporting character.
Yeah, he's right on the edge,
there. Because he's not in very many, but
it's maybe 4 episodes.
I think it might be a few more than that. But he's always a central focus of the episodes that he's in. So he's interesting. What's your favorite Mickey moment?
I mean, I think the culmination is when him and Kramer get into the fight.
Yeah.
And I try to remember which episode that is.
I think they might get in a fight in a couple of them.
Okay. I think they probably did it once. That's really funny looking.
Right, that's funny looking that he's beating up Kramer. Yeah. Not only because Mickey's a little person, but Kramer's so tall.
He's so tall and lanky. Oh, man, it's so good. And then they have to break it up. Oh, man. But the part that I'm thinking of is that they're they're doing fake sicknesses.
Yes. And he keeps getting gonorrhea.
Yeah.
Or I forget. Does Kramer want gonorrhea or does he just keep getting it?
I can't remember, but if they play it up, he's got he's smoking in the hospital.
Well, because then he comes in and starts doing Mickey's part, and Mickey gets mad at him about it. I think my favorite Mickey episode is when he's in the little love triangle with the other two little people, and it's
he's got the high heels on. That's why they're upset with one another.
yes. Well, and they that humor within that little love triangle is such a wink humor.
Yeah,
it's a throwback to old school romance story. I don't know. It's
Casablanca or something.
Yeah, it's hard to kind of put your finger on it, but that episode and that storyline is really funny with Mickey. So
he's good. He's good stuff.
Okay. Number 15 is me. I say this one.
Yeah, please do.
Okay.
Dead air, man.
Sorry. We're cheating here, but it's because these two characters are kind of inseparable, and one of them isn't more funny than the other.
Right.
Really. And that's Jerry's parents.
the Seinfelds.
Monty and Helen?
I think Helen's right.
I'm going to go see, you talk about them for a second while I go check and make sure that's their names.
So I think, they're Jerry's parents, as you said. And I think the favorite moment I have is when Jerry, and does Elaine come? I think it's like the first time that they go to Florida.
Okay,
and they have to they have to sleep on the couch, and it's like got this horrible spring into it, and so you have a horrible back pains when you wake up. Yeah, I think Elaine's there because she ends up having to sleep on it.
Yes.
And
Morty Seinfeld,
yes,
sorry,
that's
not
it.
Monty. Morty.
But Morty sounds right. But yeah, that's my favorite moment. That's not even them. It's just like they're
The
like
situation.
ignorant of
Yes,
it.
yeah.
And like it's a great. At least I think that's what his mom says or something. And then the dad ends up sleeping on it later.
And he throws his back out because of it. Yeah, they're like a throwback parent dynamic.
What do you mean?
Well, it's just like an old school, like the dad is always just worried about like his own, and this kind of Seinfeld, the humor of Seinfeld in general, but he's always just in his own world and worried about the least, like having the same as, I don't think this is an actual example, but just having the same wallet as somebody.
Yeah.
Like I found this watch for, $50. Like reminds me of Grandpa Wheeler a little bit.
Yes. It does kind of. Oh man, that reminds me of when they get he gets the pocket, not a pocket watch. He gets the it's like a smartphone, but before smartphones.
Oh yeah.
From Jerry, and he's like doesn't care about it.
Yes, yeah, right.
And then him and Kramer do the. Oh man.
Yeah. Just like the dynamic between them as a married couple is just very funny and well written. It's very different than another set of parents that we're going to get to here in a little bit. But I think I'm trying to think of my favorite moment with them. Probably when the wallet bit, when they he thinks that the doctor stole his wallet when he was in the doctor's office for a checkup, and they try to give. It's just funny. That whole wallet situation was really funny between the parents. So, Helen and Morty, Seinfeld. Who's 14?
Whatley.
Ooh,
Mr.
Tim Whatley.
Mr. Bryan Cranston.
Yes.
Got it. In one.
Walter White himself.
Not well before. A few years before. Like 10
about
years.
10 years, yeah. Well, by the end of the show, it was about 10 years.
Yeah.
By the time he appeared, it was probably like 15.
Yeah. So he's a dentist.
Yes.
And
there's a lot to him.
There's a lot to deal with him.
Because he's, I would say of the characters we're about to mention, he probably shows up the least, but has the most like character.
He has a character development.
Yeah, his character development, it kind of goes downhill. He's a character regression.
The best part about Dr. Whatley.
You said something earlier that you really enjoyed.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if that's my favorite, but I think it is. When he becomes Jewish.
Oh yes,
so that he can do jokes. Well, he doesn't say that, but that's what Jerry
picks up on.
Believes that, and then he goes to a Catholic priest to tell him that he did that. All right, does he go to Whatley's priest? I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
But
yeah, and then
it's funny when he's telling the joke and Jerry's just like so upset. He's like, you can't say that.
He's like, I'm Jewish.
Yeah.
And then he's like, yeah, but Jerry says something. He's like, my people suffered for years. He's like, Jewish? He's like, no, dentists.
Yes. That's right. And then Jerry makes dentist jokes.
Yes, and he's not okay with it.
Yes. You're not a dentist.
Yeah, man, he's the regifter. That's the first episode he's in, I think, is when he regifts the label maker.
Yep.
But I love how it's implied that he puts his dental patients to sleep, and then he does things with his assistants while they're under, and possibly his patients as well, because Jerry wakes up from being put under, and Watley's like buttoning his shirt back up.
Right.
I think that's my favorite Tim Watley moment.
That's great.
And he's one of the best episodes, the Thanksgiving Day Parade episode.
Oh, is he in that one?
The Woody Woodpecker. Yeah, that's the party that he goes to because Jerry had one of his teeth are hurting, so he sneaks into Tim Watley's Thanksgiving party, to see if he can take a look at him.
I might have missed this episode.
And Watley doesn't want him there. It's the one where Kramer or George thinks that they bought John Voight's car.
Oh, yeah.
And remember they bring in the pencil with the teeth marks on it to...
Oh, man, I must have fallen asleep or something.
Okay.
We watched these every night for like 6 months.
Yeah.
No, I must not been that long.
They find...
a month and a half, I guess.
They find a pencil in the car with teeth marks on it. And
okay. They want to find out if that's actually his teeth.
Well, and then John Voight... Kramer runs into John Voight on the street, and John Voight bites his arm. So he has teeth marks on his arm, and then they have teeth marks on the pencil, and they want Watley to see if they match up, if it's the same
awesome.
teeth marks.
Like they would need a dentist really to check that.
Okay. Number 13. Okay, I'm glad I get to say this one, because he is probably in my top 5 favorite characters on the show. Supporting characters. The main 4 are hard to beat, but and I don't see a lot of love for this guy on the internet. I don't know why. I think he's so funny. It's Kruger. Kruger is or Cougar? It's Kruger.
It's Kruger.
Yeah, okay. Is George's boss in the last season.
Yes.
Would you like to explain the joke with Kruger?
No, you said you were excited about it. Go for it.
Kruger, George basically meets his match with Kruger as far as incompetency and laziness.
Yes.
He gets hired on at this one company where Kruger is the boss, and George pretty much does everything to get him fired, and Kruger just doesn't care. He remember he ruins, or he realizes that he's in the background of one of Mr. Kruger's pictures.
Gosh, yes.
And then they try to redo the picture, and Kruger's just like, he's like, whatever. He just doesn't care. He's like, Kruger. He's like, that sounds like one of those old-timey cars. Kruger!
Yes.
But then, George, it's like a busy day at the office, and George, bails. He skips to go eat lunch with Jerry. And he's, explaining it to him. He's like, work's just killing us right now. And then he looks over and his boss is just eating a piece of pie at the diner.
He's right there.
He's like, what? So his boss is also just skipping out on work. It's so funny that to see that George had to become the voice of reason in that job because his boss was so incompetent.
Oh man.
But my all-time favorite moment of Kruger. Or what's yours? Do you know?
Oh, I think mine would be when they do the nicknames.
That was the one I was about to say. Do you want to say that one?
I mean, I'm trying to remember all the details. I just know that George wants to be... What does he want to be called?
He wants to be called T-Bone.
T-Bone. Which is funny in and of itself. Yeah. How does he decide T-Bone?
I don't... I think they're also... Jerry's like, T-Bone? He's also confused by it.
And so he George comes up with this whole scheme to become called T-Bone.
Yeah.
And then it just is stolen from George.
Yeah.
And then Kruger calls George.
Well, okay. Here, I'll go through the sequence of events. So he wants to be called T-Bone. So at work, they're taking their lunch orders. And
he says T-Bone steak.
Yeah, George's like, Kruger's like, I'll take a salad.
Yeah.
And George is like, I'll take a T-bone steak. And they're like, whoa, George. And he's like, hey, I'm just a T-bone kind of guy. And then the guy sitting next to George is like, you know what? That sounds good. I'll have a T-bone steak as well. And, and Kruger's like, well, maybe we should call you T-bone. And George is like, no. And I'm pretty sure Kruger starts chanting.
Yes, he does.
T-bone. Well, then later, George is starts yelling at the guy to give him the name. And
he accepts.
He accepts. It cuts outside the window, and Kruger's like, wow, look at George giving it to T-Bone. And he's like, it kind of looks like a monkey jumped up and down like that.
Yes.
And then they walk back in, and George is like, me and Randy, or the guy, he's like, have come to the conclusion that I will be known as, and then Kruger's like, Coco the monkey.
Yes. That's it. Oh, that's such a good. How could they come up with?
I literally like so. I'll talk about a little bit about the last 2 seasons of the show. So, Larry David left after season 7.
Yeah.
And season 8 and 9 were not Larry David as the creative voice. He came back to direct the finale.
Right.
A lot of people look down on the last 2 seasons. I think they're hilarious.
Yes. I think they like change in some sort of way. There's like a feeling that changes.
It is. It's because Larry David's not there. It does change, but I actually think it's a little quicker.
Yes.
It's a little quicker witted. Which Seinfeld, it was quick witted, but it was more awkward and I'm trying to think of the right word. Kind of not narcissistic humor, but
yeah, a little darker.
A little darker. The last 2
it gets
seasons
darker in a sense, but
it also gets goofier.
Yes,
it gets more
cartoonish,
more cartoonish in the last 2 seasons. But it just something about it. Just those last 2 seasons, it just makes me laugh.
I think that there's a lot more callbacks. I feel like in the last 2 seasons too. Like kind of everything they like try to meld everything together a little bit more.
Yeah, and there's a lot of iconic moments in the last 2 seasons, like the thing of him painting over the lines of the highway. I'm pretty sure that's in the 8th season.
Yeah, it's later. I was like, oh, all these episodes I've heard about.
Yes. It was almost like, you get the episodes like the Bubble Boy or Soup Nazi or Marine Biologist, stuff like that, when Larry David was still there. But you have a lot of popular episodes in those last 2 seasons.
Right.
The where the chicken restaurant goes across the street and the red light is blaring through the window. That's in I want to say it's last season.
Yeah.
I think it's season 9.
Yeah.
So I don't dislike the last 2 seasons. I think they're very funny.
Yeah.
And I don't. It wasn't like it's not like a Community last 2 seasons to where it completely just feels like a different show altogether.
No.
It definitely feels like Seinfeld. It's just less. Man, there's a word I'm thinking of. Not dark, but cynical. Cynical is the word I'm looking for. It's not as cynical in the last 2 seasons.
Yes.
But anyways, okay, yeah. So Kruger, great character. If we were talking about my personal picks, he would definitely be higher. But I get that these characters upcoming are better characters.
There you go. So. All right. Number 12 is one of my favorite characters for some unknown reason. But it's Jackie Childs. And I think that he's so funny. I don't know if it's just like he's got those big old glasses and he's just like a perfect companion with Kramer.
Yes.
But anyway, he's Kramer's lawyer.
Yeah.
And he always thinks that he's going to win whatever case they're throwing at him.
It's always a sure win.
Yes, yeah. And always foiled in the end. And it's not ever his fault, really.
No, it's never his. It's always like Kramer or whoever he is representing his fault.
It's so good.
But I was watching because we've both watched this recently. In real life, he would be the worst lawyer ever. He's not a good lawyer in real terms. In the show, it makes sense that it's these other like Kramer that says something that he shouldn't have. And, but in reality, he would be a terrible lawyer.
Yes. I'm trying to think of like an actual funny moment with him. I think it's just the things that surround him that are funny.
Yeah. His mannerisms are really funny.
Yeah, it's just like him. He is like playing it very funny.
Yes,
to me,
he is not a realistic character.
No, not at all.
I think he's based. At least the performance is based off of. What's his name? I'm gonna sound like an idiot. The lawyer that did the OJ trial.
Oh, I don't know who that is. But
Shoot, I can't think of his name. He even has the same initials.
oh, really?
JC, yeah.
Okay.
And he was very famous in the OJ trial for saying really like obvious things, but he would put emphasis on it so that it would like sink into
like,
the and that's kind of what Jackie Childs ends up doing.
Yes.
Is
he's just playing the jury to make
Yes.
them think something, even though he's saying the opposite. Really.
Yeah, or if what he's saying is nonsense, but it's the way, it's the conviction that he has of what he's
Yes.
saying that's really funny. Yeah, I don't think I can really think of like a specific moment with him either. I think whenever he gets the call, he's like,
Yeah. Yes.
25 million. Yeah,
And then he tells his secretary like, cancel my appointment.
yeah. This is gonna take forever. No, he's very funny. Recurring. Again, he's not in it a whole lot. He's in maybe 4 or 5 episodes.
Yeah,
but
he's in the season finale or series finale.
He's like one of the main characters in this series finale.
You just did the same exact
I'm
stutter as
sorry.
me. I'm sorry. It was my fault. What's number 11?
Number 11 is Steinbrenner. George Steinbrenner. It's funny that his name's George.
That is
as well.
funny that his name is George.
And the reason for that is because he was an actual person, so they couldn't actually change his name.
it. Yeah, I guess not.
George Steinbrenner. Explain. I feel like I've been talking a lot.
Shut up, Daniel. It's my turn. George Steinbrenner is the owner of the Yankees baseball team, and is somehow George gets a job there.
And he never gets up until the very end. He just never gets fired.
Yes.
Regardless of what he does.
Yes.
Taking naps under his desk or whatever.
But George Steinbrenner is voiced by Larry David.
Yes.
But never actually seen.
It's always like the back of his head.
Except for when I think Larry David leaves. There's
might
moment,
change,
I believe, that he is shown and the actor talks himself, which is silly.
Oh no, I'll tell you what it is. I think I know what you're.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of the time I think it. Well, no, yeah, I think I know what you're talking about, but I don't think it ever showed his face.
It doesn't show. It like shows him running around or something.
Yeah, and it's not.
It doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel right.
They should have, because I think spoilers. I think George gets fired sometime in the 8th season, maybe the end of the 8th season.
Right.
They should have just had him get fired at the end of the 7th season.
Yeah, just say that he got fired or something.
Yeah, that way you didn't have to do George Steinbrenner. But boy, oh boy, does he make a triumphant return in the series finale.
Yeah.
When he's one of the witnesses.
I don't remember, what does he say?
He's just like, oh, he says that George is a communist. Remember, they think George is a communist? But he's like, I love George. But yeah, he's always like, what's your favorite Steinbrenner moment?
Probably the sandwich. Like he forces George to get the calzone like every day, and then George loses the calzone.
I forget. Yeah, I think he doesn't tip, or he does tip, and the guy didn't look at it, so he goes in and tries to take the tip back out, and the guy's like thinks he's stealing.
Yes,
so he bans him from the calzone shop. And then they try to get Newman to go in,
something like that,
because it's on his route, his mail route. But yeah, he's like, pretty good calzone. Yeah, I forgot about the calzone part. It's like, what is that, eggplant? Man,
what's your favorite moment?
I think just whenever he's just like rambling on and George just leaves his office, because he just starts rambling about like random stuff like that has nothing to do with the plot or the scene. It's so funny. And you can just obviously tell it's Larry David.
Yeah, it doesn't sound any different other than he's like lowering his voice slightly.
Yeah, pretty good, George. Pretty good. Also, this isn't a main character. He shows up in one episode, but remember when Larry David was the lawyer in the Cape?
No.
Remember his dad, George's dad, has a lawyer and he wears a cape.
Yes. I forgot about that.
David.
I forgot about that. That's great.
Okay.
Anyway, so
break now.
I think we should break.
Okay. Well. We haven't heard this music for a while, have we?
Oh, it's so beautiful.
I love it.
It sounds like money.
It is money to my ears.
Ooh.
And speaking of money,
Yeah?
Phillip, I want to make this my full-time job.
Really?
And I think eventually you would like to make this your full-time job.
I'd like to quit.
You'd like to quit.
No, I don't. I like my job. Don't fire me because I said I wanted to quit.
I think it's understood that it would become my full-time job first and then yours?
Yeah, I think it's understood.
Okay, all right. Anyways, we want to just do this. This is something that we're good at, or this is something that I'm good at. I think.
Bad at it. I'm really bad at this.
No, I meant like you're good at other things.
Oh.
I'm not really good at anything else.
That's not true.
And I would like to just do this.
Okay.
I'm sick and tired of wasting my time on other things other than family, friends, and podcasts. So I would like to just do podcasting. That way I don't have to waste 40 hours a week. So
well, let me tell you something, Daniel. I have a way for you.
Great.
I have paved the way, and it's called not Patreon.
Yeah, Patreon, get out of here.
Get out of here. You suck.
With your crap.
Ugh. You took so much money out of our pockets. Thank you to Daniel, Corey, and my mom. Not Daniel. Ethan. Ugh. Crap. Anyway, Acast Plus is what we've got now.
What is it called?
Acast Plus.
Nice.
Acast is our new podcast provider. They do stuff for free.
Nice.
For free. And instead of us paying a bunch of money for the website. And now we get to do this too.
Yes.
Which is for free for us and for paid for you. So remember how Patreon, we had a couple tiers. Daniel, do you remember them?
I do.
Off the dome.
So first tier, $5 tier, the Fluffy Curtains tier.
Nice.
You get to listen to our episodes with no ads.
Nice.
You get to be a part of our new private Instagram account where you get to see videos and photos.
Nice.
And that's it.
That's it.
Okay.
Pretty nice.
Pretty good. Our $10 tier, the Hitler Bowser tier, you get all that I just said. You also get extra content on Acast Plus, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Audio content, deleted segments that we've done, maybe even bonus episodes. I think that'd be fun.
That'd be fun. Just for you, our friends.
For you. And
you're not our friend if you don't pay for it.
Yeah, you're not our friend, and we won't talk to you more. And also maybe a little something else.
Maybe something nice.
Maybe something nice. We'll see.
We'll see.
And then if you give to our $100 I'm Rich tier.
Yeah.
Baby. You don't get anything extra except for the
same thing as the $10 tier.
Same thing as the $10 tier, except you get the
pride.
The pride of knowing that you were able to give us $100 a month.
You beautiful person.
Yes, and you're a beautiful person. Maybe we will send you. Maybe we'll send you a little plaque. Maybe a plaque.
Maybe a plaque. Yeah, who knows? I don't know. But you're really doing it because you think that you're rich and you deserve it.
It won't be a gold plaque. It'll be like a copper plaque.
It will be plastic.
It'll be plastic plaque. But yeah, so we're back, baby.
Back, baby. And then you may be asking, listener, how could I do this? I want to give all my money to these boys.
Yeah.
And you just look at your podcast feed. And you look at the description of this episode or any episode, and you'll see a little link for Acast Plus.
Yeah.
And you just click on that and you go through those steps and you'll hear the money sounds, I think.
Oh.
And you don't. But we will.
Guys, we're being serious. We want this to be our full-time job. Yeah. So please, if you're listening to this and you're thinking like, oh, I'll let other people give. Don't do that. Actually give.
Yeah.
And be a part of this.
That's right. And maybe we'll say oh, you just want to give one time? You just want to give a one-time thing?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Fine.
We
to
will,
be that way.
We will set that up as well, I believe. And share with your friends. Thank you, Reed Wheeler.
Reedy?
For telling all your friends about us. And thank you, I think Lance Hainline for telling
Thanks, Lance.
your people to listen to us. Also,
okay.
we have a little fan who has a fan account on Instagram.
Who is it? We don't know.
His name's Eddie.
Oh,
he's from
is it?
Illinois.
Okay, Eddie. Thanks, Eddie.
And
this is news to me. I didn't know about Eddie.
I told you.
I don't know about Eddie.
Okay. Shout out to Eddie.
Thanks, Eddie. You have been blasting our page.
Yeah.
And it sounds, it's confusing because it is Classic Countdown Conversation.
His fan account is Classic Countdown Conversation. We have Classic Countdown Conversations, and then I'm going to make a new Instagram page that might just be like CCC Podcast or something, and that'll be the private one where if you give $5, then you get access to it.
That's right.
But yeah, shout out to Eddie. He's great.
And if you're listening to this and you like us, we would like it if you rated and subscribed.
Thank you very much.
This episode was made by listeners like you.
And yeah. CCC.
Yeah, and Marcellus, turn the music off.
Thank you. Okay. What is number 10, Phillip?
Number 10 is Leo. Uncle Leo. So Uncle Leo is Jerry's uncle.
Yes.
Who is in the show for its entirety.
Yeah, I think he's in season 1 and the last season. Does he show up? He's at the trial in the last episode.
Yes, he is. Yeah. Oh yeah.
They almost bring everyone back. There's a couple characters and that they don't, and I'm a little upset about it. But
who do they not bring?
Okay, spoilers for the series finale of Seinfeld for a 25-year-old series finale. Watley is not in it.
Oh,
and Kruger's not in it.
Interesting.
And I was so mad because I had completely when I rewatched it, I completely forgot about Kruger. Kruger quickly became one of my favorites. So when the series, because I am a stickler for series finales, they have to, not that they have to do everything right, but when it comes to characters, I like everyone to be in a series finale.
Gotcha.
So I was looking for him, and he just never shows up. And I was like, And then it was after the fact. I was like, Watley isn't in it either.
That's interesting.
I think there's probably a few others that aren't in it
sure,
that I can't think of right now. But they could have they could have easily, because like the trial is like televised. They could have cut to so many characters, and I think they do cut to some of the recurring characters. But they cut to characters that were in it like 1-2 episodes.
Yep.
It's like, no, bring back like the major players, All
right. So Uncle Leo.
Yeah, good Uncle Leo.
Man. He's just like, I don't know what he's not like a foil against Jerry, but he brings things out of Jerry that he doesn't expect, I guess. And probably the biggest moment is when he catches Leo stealing a book.
Yes, yeah.
Which is very funny because I think he ends up going to jail, right?
I think so. He gets the police catch him at the end, and
Jerry doesn't expect it.
No, Jerry. It was Jerry. Jerry said it.
Yeah, he said it, but he wasn't expecting the whole like police to catch him. He was just like wanting to make sure that he gets caught.
Oh, okay. I thought at the end he was like, "You're busted," to his uncle.
Maybe so, or maybe it's that. Oh, I don't know.
I'd have to rewatch it.
I'd have to rewatch it too.
But yes, when the book stealing episode is probably the most famous Uncle Leo episode.
Yes.
At least growing up, that was the one I always thought of Uncle Leo being in.
I think what happens is Uncle Leo is busted by Jerry, and he tells like what looks like just a library employee.
Oh, that's right.
And then the police come, and Jerry's like,
Yes. Okay, but I think that's the middle of the episode. I think the end of the episode, Jerry like loses sympathy and actually does want Leo to get his comeuppance. I think
maybe that's what happens. I can't remember at all. But it's funny.
It's funny because it's such a weird relationship between them. You can always tell that Jerry doesn't really like interacting with Uncle Leo, but he also cares about him at the same time.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Kind of like all uncles.
Kind of like all uncles. You hear that? All my uncles that are listening? I'm just kidding. I love you guys.
Not me. No, I don't love Daniel's uncles. No, I'm lying. I love all uncles everywhere. Daniel's an uncle.
I'm an uncle now.
I'm an uncle.
That's true. That should be, it should be called the Uncle Show.
The uncles.
Mr. and Mr. Uncle.
It's uncle's a weird, nasty sounding word.
Uncle.
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 What a gross English word we have.
But yeah, I think, is that your favorite moment?
I think that's my favorite. It's at least the one that I can think of the most of.
Which is funny because you can't think of the details.
I don't know any details about anything.
Yeah, there's also we were talking about earlier, the money thing where like he owes Jerry's parents money and Jerry's not supposed to say anything, but he does. And it just kind of creates, drama between them. But yeah, that Uncle Leo is a good recurring character.
Yes.
Like whenever he shows up, you're like, oh, hey, it's Uncle Leo.
Yes.
I don't think he aged a day from the beginning to the end. He looked the exact same the entire time.
How do you stay old forever? That's what he learned.
I feel like people with bad genes stop having bad genes at some point, and then they just look the same until they die. You know what I mean? Like if you're like 30 but you look like you're 55.
You always look like you're 55.
Once you get to the age that you look like you are, then you're just look like that even past that age.
Ugh.
Number 9 is Estelle Costanza. So we're breaking up George's parents because they're not as equally yoked.
Yeah, there you go. Literally, they end up, I guess, separating is what
they
you
do
would
separate
say.
a bit.
They don't officially divorce. I don't.
They get back together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
But
George!
Yes. She's just man, poor
Georgie.
George's upbringing was a nightmare. So did you know? Well, actually, I'll get into it when we talk about the other parent. But yeah, Estelle was in it first.
Right.
Estelle's in a few episodes before her husband comes in.
Yes.
So she's a little bit longer running of a character.
I guess she's introduced in one of the most famous episodes, right?
I think that's probably the most famous episode, the contest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the first episode she is in. Maybe she might be in one other one, or she's mentioned prior, but that's the first one where like she's she's kind of part of the plot and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, that's probably the thing I think about the most. That or in the series finale, she tries to seduce the judge.
I forgot about that. Oh, I love that doesn't work.
It doesn't work, even though I think it's implied that it does happen,
yes.
but they just doesn't do anything. Yeah, she's got her moments.
She's got her moments.
She's not the funniest character in the show, but she's got her moments for sure.
Yeah. I can't think of another moment of her. There's a lot.
There's just always she's always yelling.
She's always yelling. It's almost like they make it very obnoxious and it's perfect.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She's not annoying. Like she doesn't annoy me, but it is an annoying character.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I love it when. I mean, it's just the situation. She's actually not that funny in it, other than like she finds her husband and Kramer dancing, and he's got the man's ear on. She just like walks in. She's about ready to get back together with her husband, and then walks out.
Yeah, their reactions. They're just all three of them are just like staring at each other.
Yes.
No, I love. There's a flashback. George has a flashback of his childhood, and he's like by his birthday cake, and he's just like in shock, and his dad's like, "Blow out the candles," and the mom's like, "Stop yelling at him! You're killing him." I think that might be my favorite Estelle moment.
Oh man, number 8.
Yeah, who's it?
Is I would say a Cardiff favorite.
Yes.
It was like I hadn't seen Seinfeld, but I heard about this guy every time I went over to dinner to Lindsay's house.
He was the top of conversation daily.
As Putty.
Yeah.
Elaine's boyfriend.
David Putty.
David Putty. He is only in 2 episodes.
No, he's in more than that.
No. He's only in 2 at the beginning-ish.
Oh, yes.
And then all of a sudden he comes back and Elaine's like, I'm going back to Putty.
Yes.
It's like she can't get away from him even though she hates him.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great. But he's the mechanic.
He's the second because what's his face shows up as a mechanic.
From that's right. From
Everybody Loves Raymond.
Her brother,
Robert from Everybody Loves Raymond. He shows up in like a 2-parter episode as the mechanic. He like steals the car and stuff. But then I'm assuming he was too expensive,
probably,
the actor, to bring back. So they bring in David Putty as the mechanic after that.
And actually the guy from Everybody Loves Raymond's really funny.
He's great in that episode. But David Putty, it was interesting. I think you hit the nail on the head when you said he was a Cardiff favorite, because before I went back and rewatched Seinfeld from beginning to end, I always thought of Putty as being like one of the main supporting characters. Yeah,
I was assuming that he was.
Right, and I think it's because those episodes must have played a lot in reruns.
Yeah.
Growing up. So I just saw Putty a lot.
Yeah.
So when I was rewatching the show and I got to like season 6, I was like, where is Putty at? Like, why has he not shown up yet? But yeah, he's in those. He's in like you said, 1 or 2 episodes, and I think it was once Larry David left. It's those last 2 seasons that he's in a lot.
Yeah.
But he's hilarious. It's Patrick Warburton.
Yes.
And the ongoing joke of like him and Elaine just like can't stand each other, but they can't break up. Like they keep breaking up and keep getting back together.
I think that moment of them like on the airplane, that's funny. But I think my favorite moment is when he becomes a Christian, or they realize that he's a Christian. She like, I looked through all of the stations on his radio and it's all Christian stations.
All the presets. I forgot about that part of that episode. That is. I think the 2 best Putty episodes are that, now that you mentioned that, and the face painter episode.
Yes. And that actually, the Christian one calls back to the face painter one.
Oh, do they?
Because that's when she says, I'm the devil. And because he says it at the beginning.
I'm the devil.
Yeah.
We're the devils.
Yeah. Oh, quit hitting it.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I forgive you. I love you.
I love you too.
Yeah. So and then she says, "I'm the devil," and does a little. So it's a callback.
Right,
so it's great. It's like a perfect circle of hilarity.
Yeah. Well, I love. He's like, she's like, "Do you believe in God?" And he's like, "Yeah." It's just so matter of fact. She's like, "So you're pretty religious?" It's like, "That's right." She's like, "Does it matter? And it doesn't bother you that I'm not religious?" He's like, "No, not really."
Or it doesn't affect me.
Yeah, it doesn't affect me. And she's like, "Well, why not?" He's like, "I'm not the one going to hell." It's so like, and then like later on, they go to a priest or something, and he's like, "Oh, I'm afraid that you're both going to hell." And he's like, "This is bogus, man."
Yes, that's right. I forgot about the end of that episode that he loses his faith.
And then Elaine is just like, Elaine's fine.
Yes.
They're such horrible people.
Yes.
We'll get to those 4 here soon. But yeah, Putty is great. He shows up in the series finale, which I'm happy about.
Yes.
That he was in it. That's another great moment is when, spoilers for the series finale, she's like, "Putty, don't wait for me." He's like, "All right." He just walks out of the courtroom. Okay, who's number? You say number. You can say number 7.
Okay.
I've been talking a lot. You can say
Fine. Number 7's Peterman.
Peterman.
What's his first name? Is it just J Peterman?
Something J Peterman. Or J something Peterman.
Anyway, this is Elaine's boss. Is he the last boss?
He's the last like main one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what does he do?
Well, he goes on like his soul searching for like 2 seasons.
Yes,
He's
and then
gone
he comes
forever.
back. I like that they get him back though. I assume that he was doing something. Probably had a movie and then came back.
He just comes back and he just like is in his suit. And he's like, "I'm back now."
Yes, because she like is running the company and then he's just back
while he's gone.
And oh man, he is just Well, she like runs into him, right? She runs into him and then
She's out in
gets the
rain.
job.
Yeah.
Because she explains what something is, the
Well,
way that he likes
She's wearing
it.
one of his coats, I think.
Okay.
And yeah, she explains what's so good about it.
Yes.
Or something. He's like, I'm Jay Peterman.
Yes. I created that coat.
He's like an adventurer. And
yes.
yeah.
I'm assuming this is based on someone real.
I would think so, but I don't know. I haven't done any research on it.
I don't know anything about it. But I want to know this man in real life. Seems like a hoot. My favorite moment is with him and Elaine when she eats his cake that he bought. That's like $10,000.
Yes.
That was like from like medieval times or something, from a castle somewhere.
Yes, I forgot about that.
She like doesn't. She was just. Oh, she doesn't want birthday cake, but she
wanted something sweet.
She wanted something sweet, but she was unwilling to get the birthday cake because they have so many birthdays. And then she finds that cake and eats it, and then she learns from him that he's purchased this cake
for $11,000.
And then she continues to eat it.
She continues to eat it, and then at the end, he's like, "Let's celebrate with this cake."
Yes.
That's a very traditional sitcom thing of like. At the end of the episode, like, I've been saving this for this very occasion. Let's say, it's like something that was, I think there was a regular show episode that was something like that. But yeah, there's lots of good Peterman moments. I don't know if I would have a favorite.
Well, come up with one.
Well, probably.
I'm so demanding towards you right now. I'm sorry.
Probably when
it's all this coffee in my veins.
No, it's okay. I like it.
Whoa.
I love it. It's an Office quote. Probably when she goes over to Peru and she's like in a cave and she runs into him.
Oh, right.
Do you remember this?
I like very vaguely.
Yeah, it's just like he went on his little quest and he ended up in Peru. That or just all of his like little story when he's. Haven't heard write his autobiography, but
oh my goodness,
none of his stories are interesting.
So he steals
Kramer's stories.
That's a great moment.
And then Kramer starts trying to tell his story, and Elaine's like,
you can't,
you don't own it anymore.
He needs it back because all of his buddies are asking him to say the story. Woof. Okay, number 6, huh?
Yeah, go ahead and say it.
Newman. Ooh. I wonder if people are upset that this is so low.
Newman? It was either 6 or 5.
Yeah.
You can't put him above the main 4. Newman. What a great addition to the show.
I love that the first time you meet Newman is that he's about to commit suicide.
It never shows.
It doesn't show him, and I think that's Larry David's voice as well.
Oh, that would make sense.
And then Kramer's like, "Go ahead and jump."
Yeah, go ahead and do it.
And then I think it's like 3 seasons later.
It's like way later. Yeah,
all of a sudden it comes back.
I think he's mentioned by name like early on. Newman, like he's the mailman Newman.
Yes.
And then there's the episode where he's gonna jump off the roof and Kramer's egging him on, but it doesn't show him. It's just, and then he finally comes in, and became pretty much the 5th main character, I would say.
Yeah.
If you look at the show overall, like after the 4 mains, I'd say you probably think of Newman next.
Yeah,
as being
I'd say so.
A character.
I think it's probably because him and Kramer
they're like
gels. They gel so well together.
Well, and him and Kramer are buddies. Him and Jerry are enemies.
Yes.
He vaguely resembles George.
Yeah.
And
then he loves
Elaine. So he has an interesting dynamic with all of the characters. Not really George, but
no.
Anyone who interacts with George has an interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
But yeah, he kind of, because a lot of these characters like Kruger really only interacts with George. Peterman really only interacts with Elaine.
Yeah.
Jerry's parent, I guess the parents kind of interact with everybody.
Right.
But Newman definitely has like episodes and scenes with the entire cast.
Yep.
So I think that's kind of probably why he was in it so often.
Yes.
But because you could be like, okay, we need somebody to be enemies with Jerry in this episode. Well, Newman, of course.
Yeah, yes, of course.
We need someone to go on a little adventure with Kramer. Well, Newman, of course. So.
Oh man.
What favorite Newman moment?
Probably. I think what's going on is they realize Kramer realizes that he can make money off of recycling.
Yes.
By taking it to Michigan.
Yes. This is the same episode with Robert from Everybody Loves Raymond.
Oh,
because they're following him,
yes.
remember? And they go off course.
Wow. What an episode that one is.
It was a two-parter, I want to say.
Yeah, I think it must be a season finale of some sort.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they realize that, and then Newman realizes, or wait, I don't know how they figure out that they can take the mail to Michigan.
I forget, yeah.
Or they need to like take
it's like bottle caps or something.
Yeah.
Or cans,
yeah,
pop cans or something.
Yeah, but they realize like it's not worth the money to drive it, but if you are getting paid to drive it already,
then it's some convoluted scheme where they can get money off of it because they're always trying to do like get rich quick schemes.
Yes, and then Jerry ends up calling them to follow Robert. What is his name?
Tony. I think his name's Tony.
Tony. That sounds about right. And then Tony's like crazy, and so does he. How does the freaking van catch on fire? That's what I don't remember how it gets to that point.
Is that the same episode?
I believe that's the same episode.
Okay, I thought doesn't
they like
Tony throws something out the car,
yes,
and it gets caught under the van, right?
Yes, I think so.
And
no, because it's like crazy because then because earlier in the episode Kramer goes to that house. Is that
the house?
Or I don't know. Maybe I'm making up things, but he like stays at the house with the farmer. Is that episode? Newman goes first, or Newman goes first, and then Kramer ends up meeting him there.
Okay, yeah.
Because Newman like falls in love with the girl.
The daughter.
Yes.
Yeah. We might be getting two episodes mixed up.
I can't tell.
I can't.
I mean, it would make sense because the van catches on fire.
Right. Yeah.
I think it's two-parter. I think the end of the first episode ends with the van catching on fire.
Okay.
And then the second one ends with him like getting almost shot. I don't know.
Crazy adventure.
It's just there's that moment when it catches on fire. That's what I think of.
And he's just like yelling.
Yes. Like Lindsay and I rewound it multiple times just to watch his face. It's so funny.
I love. There's a lot of good Newman episodes or good Newman moments. The part where Jerry's doing the JFK spit wad thing.
Oh yeah.
Using Kramer and Newman as like reference point. That's really funny.
Did you know that Newman's like in a real movie?
He's in that scene.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I don't know what that movie is though.
JFK.
Is it just called JFK?
Or I think it's about Hoover.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways. And then another good one is when he's trying to get Newman to spill the beans about something, and he has like a little like Twinkie or something, and he's like bribing him, and Newman's like sweating.
Yes,
and,
he's always sweating.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's naturally sweaty or if they like just spray. I mean, they obviously do spraying, but they must he must be a little bit sweaty to make them realize.
That would be a funny thing.
Yes.
He's just his face is always beat red. Yeah. Wayne Knight.
But he like plays like serious characters most of the time.
Yeah,
but
he's in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, he's obviously hilarious.
He's a good actor. Wayne Knight.
It's a good name too.
Yeah, it's a good name. The Dark Knight is Bruce Wayne.
Oh, that's how you remember his name, huh?
Yeah.
What's number 5?
Number 5 is my favorite character on the entire show. It's one of the funniest sitcom characters ever. He might be my top 10 favorite sitcom characters. He's so funny. Frank Costanza.
Nice.
George's dad. He is just amazing. So they actually had a different guy.
Oh, really?
In the very first episode that Frank showed up on.
Oh.
It aired with a different guy.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
No, listen. And then when the next episode that they were going to have Frank come on, either the actor wasn't available or something.
Okay.
So they recast Jerry Stiller, and they loved him so much that they went back and reshot the scenes from the first episode that was aired with him in it. They reshot them with Jerry Stiller, and then for reruns, they re-edited it with the Jerry Stiller shot scenes.
Really?
Yeah. And the original guy who played him was a very like soft-spoken.
Interesting.
It was like George's mom was the overbearing one, and
Gotcha.
his dad was. So that was the joke, was that like she was
crazy.
She wore the pants in the relationship, and he was more quiet. And,
I like
reserved.
Yeah, this works way better.
Jerry Stiller comes in, and they tried to make him play it like the original guy did.
Okay.
And Jerry Stiller, like, they kept filming and it just wasn't working. He's like, can I try something else?
Yes.
And he started yelling at George, and they're like, that's it. Like, you got it.
Well, I might have been you who was telling me, but like, he like just doesn't memorize his lines or something. He just like didn't prepare at all.
And they just leave it in. A lot of times, like, you can see him like thinking of what he needs to say next. And that's why it just like has such a weird line delivery. He's just always like, and I gotta, he's always those like long pauses in between his lines. Yeah, because he just like could not memorize his lines.
But it works.
He's perfect.
Yeah.
He's
Before
perfect
I knew that, I was telling Lindsay like, oh, he like is such a funny character because of the way he delivers everything.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so interesting and different. But it's because he doesn't know what he's doing, which is great. It worked. It's perfect. Yes.
Oh man. And I think there's literally every moment's my favorite moment with Frank. You talked about the man bra.
Yes,
earlier.
The man's ear.
The man's ear is hilarious.
He's got the pool table.
Yes, that when he has the flashback of when he cooked for the Navy, and they all started throwing up, and he's just like, no! And he starts like wrecking everything. And Kramer's like, Frank.
Yes. He's like owns the business and has George work for him. For a little bit.
Garage.
Yeah, like they're selling computers.
Yes.
He does. There's so many good things. What else does he have?
The part where he comes to pick up George and that girl. It's the bloopers with him and Elaine.
Yes.
He's like, she's like, how do you know it wasn't George? He's like, my son isn't smart enough to come up with something like this. And Elaine's like, you got that right. He's like, what does that mean? She's like, it means whatever you want it to mean. He's like, are you saying you want a piece of me? She's like, I will drop you like a sack of dirt. And he's like, you want a piece of me? You got it. The episode ends with like them going into have a fist fight, Elaine and Frank. It's just like 0 to 60 immediately. Every single like scene with Frank in it.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know if I have a favorite scene. It's just so good. There's
that, and then I think
he learns how to speak, or he doesn't learn. He knows how to speak the language of the people that do the nails for Elaine.
Oh yeah.
Because he was in Korea. There it is. He speaks Korean, and he has like his love.
The love affair that he had. Yes.
Oh man,
yeah, that's so funny. And then he has two of the best bits in the finale when spoilers. When Steinbrenner's up talk giving his witness, and then while his son is on trial, he stands up. He's like, "How could you have traded so and so for?" Starts yelling about how to manage the Yankees, and then spoilers when they get convicted guilty. Everyone's like so sad. I think Estelle passes out, and then Frank's like, "Come on, honey, we got to beat the traffic."
yes. So, he is a great character.
Oh man! All right, well,
number 4, huh?
4. Who is it?
Jerry,
the titular Seinfeld.
Yes. What a word to use, Daniel.
Just means the title is based on his name.
Sick freak. So Jerry is a great character.
Yeah.
Though played by someone who's not a great actor.
Yeah.
At least at the beginning. He gets way better by the end.
He gets way better, but also gets worse. I think it got to the point where he didn't care as much about like keeping a straight face, and that kind of relaxed him to kind of not be so rigid. But he's just always smiling. He's always breaking character.
Always breaking character, which is fine. It's almost like, okay, I guess his character is that he finds everything funny.
Yeah, no,
works.
It makes total sense that he would laugh at all these situations that they're in.
Yeah, 'cause it's almost like it's like he's thinking of like how to make this the part of his show,
a stand-up,
which is perfect.
Yes, it's really good.
I don't know. I can't think of any like main things that I find so funny about Jerry.
Yeah,
it's like he's the straight man in some sense,
but then he's sometimes he's the goofy man child.
Yeah.
And I think just every time he breaks up with somebody for the most menial reason, like I don't even want to name it because I think we could probably make a list about that, about all the dumbest things that he's broken up with somebody about. But yeah, just like his outlook on life is just so distorted and funny.
Oh, I'm like racking my brain about different things that he's done. Man,
this is a very small moment, but it always makes me laugh. It's in the Junior Mint episode.
Oh yeah,
when they're watching the surgery take place, and Kramer's trying to give him the mint, and just his whole like, Kramer, I don't want it. I just love how like whiny he is in that scene.
Yes. Yeah, he does things like that every once in a while. I was like, oh, he's like, that's like really funny. And
yeah. No, he is very funny.
Yep.
But of the four main characters, he is the worst actor.
Yes.
Of them.
And the other three are incredible.
The other three are, yes, especially
the last two that we'll talk about.
Yeah. But yeah, Jerry, there's not much to talk about because there's so much to talk about.
Yeah, I don't even know where to start. Yeah. So let's not. Number 3, Daniel. Yeah. What is it?
Number 3 is Elaine.
Elaine.
I love Elaine.
I think Elaine's great.
She's I think it took maybe a season or two for the writers to figure out what to do with her.
Yeah, she kind of was stick in the mud.
She was stick in the mud. It was always implied. I guess it was flat out said that her and Jerry used to date and they weren't anymore.
Yeah, that was like the first episode.
Yeah,
is that they get back together for a bit?
Something like that.
In a sense, they get back together.
And
bunch of sinners.
But it works better when they're just friends.
Yes.
And she's kind of like she almost belongs in It's Always Sunny.
Yeah.
She's the one that like starts out pretty wholesome, and by the end of the show, she's horrible.
Yes.
And I think that's the writers were like, oh, we can make her just as bad as the rest of them.
Yeah. Yep. And it works.
It works. She ends up being the second worst person of the 4.
Yes.
We'll talk about the worst, but yeah, I think she surpasses the other 2 as far as like just being a horrible human being goes.
What's funny is I keep thinking of her character in Arrested Development.
Oh yeah,
when she pretends to be blind and then pregnant. Anyway, so in Seinfeld though, what's a good Elaine moment? We've said a few with like Putty.
Yes, yeah, when she pretends like she's the devil.
Yeah,
her dancing is really
dancing's
funny.
Really funny. Man, there's when she like wants to she isn't getting delivered the Chinese delivered to her place, so she pretends to live in the closet.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
That's pretty funny.
when her phone number is the phone number of a little kid's grandma that died. What Nammy or Gam Gam or something like that, and she's like on the phone with the little boy, and she's like, honey, Gam Gam has to go. Yeah, Gam Gam's dying. She's like, don't call it yet. And she hangs up. So the kid calls 911, and then the fire department like breaks down her door, and they're like, don't worry, Gam Gam. Hold on.
Oh,
it's probably not Gam Gam. I'm probably getting that wrong.
Yeah, it's something to that effect.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, she's great. I love Elaine.
Yep.
Okay.
Number 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who is it?
It's Kramer.
Yeah. So this probably, honestly, I feel like we probably could have ranked these 4 in any order.
Yeah.
But
they're all good in their own ways.
Yeah, but I think I think Kramer was always the fan favorite.
Yeah.
Like he was the popular.
I mean, he literally got claps on the show when he walks in.
Exactly. But he's great. He's great at what he does. He's not as funny with his line delivery. He just is so good at physical comedy.
Yes. Oh man. Yeah. It's like near the beginning when he gets the seizures.
Yes, that was one of the things I was gonna bring up.
Like that's like
the lady's voice.
Yeah, they must have realized how funny it is when he does physical comedy, and they're like, "All right, this is his character now." And man, it's worth it because he's so funny.
There's that. I
don't know when he learns to like slide in through the door too. Like that's a great
entrances.
Yeah, that's a great moment to figure. Like I feel like he's just hanging out on set or something and just realized, I could just slide through here.
Yeah. I love when something happens with his lip, and they think that he has mental disabilities, so they ask him to be the guest of honor to. He gets he has, for some reason, he's limping or something. Something's wrong with his shoe, and then Jimmy, the guy who talks to third person, punches him in the mouth. Yes. So then he has like a bad lip.
Oh man.
There's like a whole like musical number at the end of the episode where that guy's singing the song to him. Yes. And it's just his reactions. Yeah, he's just
like, all right. Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's a really good moment.
He's taking like dog medication or something. So he starts acting like a dog.
I don't remember that.
Remember? And then he like goes up, he's like out of breath, and he goes up to the cops to tell them something like, "What is it, boy?" They're like, a fire down on 2nd Street.
He has the game show set in his house.
He's eating the chips on the break and stuff.
Yes. Oh, and then he like says he's gonna do a lot of things to his apartment. But like one of them being that he's gonna like. Well, he ends up putting a jacuzzi in there, right?
Yes, he has the jacuzzi. It knocks him out.
Yes.
It's so hot.
He puts the fancy shower head on. It's like for elephants. It's super high pressure.
He spends. Is that the one where he spends the whole episode in the shower?
Probably.
He's like cooking and stuff in the shower.
No.
Oh, okay.
I think
it's like making a salad and stuff.
That's true. Oh, I think he like puts the garbage disposal in his shower.
Yes,
that's what that one is.
Yeah. And then my favorite Kramer moment ever is he gets lost downtown. And he's super scared, so he calls Jerry. He's in the phone booth, and he's like, Jerry, you like can hear him on the other side whenever it cuts to Jerry's side of the conversation, but he's like, Jerry, I'm lost downtown, I need you to come get me. He's like, well, where are you, Kramer? And he's like, I'm at the intersection of 1st and 1st Street. He's like, I must be at the nexus of the universe. And Jerry's like, don't worry, Kramer, I will find you. And like in the background, you just hear Kramer's like, yelling.
Oh man, yeah. So good, just some great Kramer moments.
Yeah. Probably the most like iconic moments of the show come from Kramer. The part where he's like talking about how he started driving the bus is really good. But
man,
who is our number one? Phillip?
Yeah, it's the one and the only. George Costanza.
Yeah, he is what makes the show work.
Yeah.
I think Kramer was the popular one. He was the fan favorite.
Yeah.
But when you really look at the show and look at well-rounded characters, who's the funniest, what makes the show work, it is. I mean, all four. Like it's the ensemble of the four of them for sure. But George is that special ingredient to the show that just makes it because he is Larry David's perspective of the world.
Yes.
He is just so funny.
Oh man. There's too many moments with George.
I know. With all four of them, really, there's just too many moments to name off.
But there's the toupee that he loves to wear.
That's another good Elaine moment. Yes. Like, I hate this, and this is what I'm doing with it.
Yeah, she throws it out the window. Oh man, he like cheats on the test, the personality test or something.
Yes. Yeah.
Or no, is it a IQ test? Is that what it is?
It's something like that. Yeah, IQ.
He
another spoiler alert, skip ahead 10 seconds if you don't want to hear it, but when his fiance's dead, he's just like on the couch lounging, eating like cheese puffs.
He doesn't care at all.
And her parents come over and he's just like real chipper about it.
Oh, he's a horrible, horrible person. Like literally the worst person that there could be.
Seriously, I lied. He would fit in with the It's Always Sunny gang perfectly.
Yeah, he is kind of he's playing it like, I don't know, like they don't find him that horrible somehow. They do.
The group doesn't. Yeah.
They do, but it's like
they're just tolerant of him.
Yes. That's just how George is.
I think with Jerry, it's like he just views the world as horrible.
Yes.
So it's just like why wouldn't I hang out with George type of thing. I have a favorite George moment.
Okay, say it. No, I don't know if I have one.
And this is my favorite moment of the entire show.
Okay.
It is when he has made his own answering machine song, and it's like it's him singing it.
Yes.
And ready or not, here or what is it?
I can't think of, it's like
believe it or not, George isn't at home, so leave a message after the beep. Something. I don't remember the rest of it. He's like, where could I be? And he does like this little like dance when he's like dancing along to it. It is so funny. But yeah, that is my favorite moment. I want that as my ringtone or as my voicemail message. It is so funny. His performance in that scene is just the best.
Yeah, and he is a like a theater actor.
Yes.
And so like he didn't think he was going to get the part.
Oh, really?
Did you know that? Yeah, he like just like kind of, it was like a throwaway. He was like, yeah, I'll do it.
Oh, wow.
And then they're like, yep, you have it.
You are perfect.
So that's pretty crazy.
I know that the marine biologist episode, where the golf ball gets stuck in the blowhole of the whale, I guess it had the original ending was different.
Okay.
And because they filmed it in front of a live audience, and it didn't like get the reaction that they were hoping for.
Okay.
So they rewrote that last scene with the golf ball being the thing that obstructed the blowhole.
Right.
And they rewrote it like 20 minutes before they shot it. And he memorized that entire monologue in 20 minutes.
Sheesh.
And delivered it perfectly.
Yeah.
So that's like the theater.
Yes.
The theater pointing through. I feel like of those four actors, maybe Elaine, but definitely him. I think he's the only one that would have been able to do that.
Yeah.
I don't think Jerry.
No way, Jerry.
And I honestly don't know if Michael Richards would have been able to do that either. He doesn't seem like that type of.
Yeah. He's like the kind of guy that would study it and think about it for 3 days and figure it out.
Because if you watch the behind the scenes, he's very serious about his comedy.
Yeah, he's like, stop laughing, Jerry.
He's like when the rest of the group is breaking, he's very like he's just like waiting till they stop laughing so they can go again. I think it's because he has thought through like how he wants to deliver something like down to the T. So that definitely shows that I think Jason Alexander is the best actor of the show.
Yep.
And I think it just shows through his performance.
Right.
He's just so good.
And he plays different parts of George so well.
Yes, yeah.
Like there's like different facets to his character, and it's just great. It's just so good.
He is George Costanza. Like,
yes.
I see him in other things. I'm like, oh, that's George.
Yeah, he
George
can't
Costanza.
play anything else now. He was like in a lot of commercials for a while. I was like, oh, this is weird to see.
Yeah, I guess George got a job in commercials after the show.
Man, well, so we've done it, huh?
That was a doozy, huh?
That was a doozy. That was an hour and a half episode.
We're cutting out some stuff. So.
Well, but then we're adding some things too.
Some stuff too. Yeah,
and we'll see.
Well, but that's okay. It was Seinfeld.
It was Seinfeld. Deserved an hour and a half.
Deserved. I would have done it for 2 hours.
Wow. Not me.
I wanted to do top 25 characters. We kind of did with the
You
honorable
kinda did.
mentions, but I wanted to talk in depth of the top 25. So,
You're lucky, listeners.
so you got spared. Maybe for maybe a little extra bit. We'll try.
Maybe.
But we'll do more Seinfeld episodes because I like talking about the show.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's our list.
Okay.
I hope you enjoyed it. Anything you want to say?
Listeners, hey, listeners, you're the best, but also, hey, we're the best.
You can never be perfect, but you can always be better.
We love you. I've been noticing we don't say it at the same time.